Our second stadium took us on a trip to Indianapolis, Indiana, December 26, 2022, where we watched the Chargers beat the Colts 20-3 on Monday Night Football. This win secured a playoff berth for the Chargers for the first time since 2018, and despite the blowout and my pre-perceived notions of the stadium before our arrival, we'll discuss why this stadium proved my notions wrong and why it's one of our top ranked stadiums to date. Stadium overall, I will be the first one to admit that if you drive by it, see it online, pictures of it, you're kind of like, that's not a stadium. That looks like a warehouse. They're just making oil in that warehouse. Lucas Oil, that's all they're doing. They're just bottling oil to sell.
Don't laugh, it ain't funny.
Well, after we went, I really appreciated the stadium. I actually really liked it. Uh, its layout is very nice. It's nice and spread out. Where we sat, we were in section 111, row one. It was like right in line with about the 30-yard line, right on the Chargers sideline. So we got to talk to, I think it was Storm Norton, and Kyle Van Noy was on the team at the time. Got a kind of like little chat back and forth with him. So that was really nice. The one thing I will kind of like knock where we sat on it is like in row one, you're not high enough up to where at the time, like Monday Night Football, they were doing that. What was it? That like scissor lift. That's ESPN. I think it was Booger McFarland that was doing it at the time. And if the line of scrimmage was in that spot, you weren't going to see anything but that scissor lift and whoever was on it or a camera. So that kind of sucked. That's the only real thing I can knock about it because the layout's nice, like where all the food is and the bathrooms, like even if there's a line, you can still maneuver and get around. You don't have to like be like, "Hey, can I squeeze through here?" Cuz it's mapped out well. The seats were awesome, which I get it. We're in section 111. They're padded. We also got some like free souvenirs. I think we got some like, I think they were flags with like the Colts logo on them. And that's always nice. Even though I'm not a Colts fan, I know people that are. I always know someone who's a fan of one of the teams I go. We'll normally keep one of them and then I'll give that other thing that we got away. And that's always nice when we do get something for free because you did pay quite a bit of money for the seats. Even the nosebleeds, they're still kind of expensive. They're not as expensive, but it's always nice to get something for free. And they did that. So that was nice. The stadium was just amazing despite what I thought about it. The retractable roof. The one thing that is really weird, I don't know if they've taken it down or if it's still up, but the banner for like the AFC runner up because of Deflate Gate is kind of pathetic. So
Hmm?
What are you doing?
Nothing. Me? Just hanging around.
we knocked it a bit there. Uh, the look on the outside, I didn't like, but now I love it because it's kind of like just paying homage to where you're from. You're from the Midwest. That's what Midwest is. It's manufacturing, and they kind of went with that look. I used to hate it. Now that I've been there, I know what the inside looks like and how nice the stadium is. I actually really like it. So there's all that. At the end of the day, we rated this one an 8.7, so it's got a pretty big score there. And it is just, it blew me away how good the stadium actually was, how it's laid out, mapped out. It's easy to get around, the sections are easy to find. It's an awesome stadium. And if you haven't been, I really do suggest you go. Fans, we didn't have a bad experience with a single fan there. The people we sat next to, whether Charger fans, Colts fans, anybody, they were really nice. We talked to a bunch. My wife actually hates it. She says every time we go somewhere, I got to make a best friend out of somebody. Um, so I just will talk quite a bit.
Makeup, smearing, no power steering. He be talking, but we don't be hearing.
Uh, but yeah, we did not have a bad experience. They were really nice when we sat next to them, just walking through like the concourse area. People would come up. I believe I wore an Eckler jersey to this stadium, and Eckler was still on the team at the time. And people kept on stopping me, and they're like, "Hey, if anybody scores, I hope it's Eckler. Like he's on my fantasy team, and I need 2 touchdowns." Like it was just stuff like that, and it was just like these guys are really, really nice here, and I wasn't expecting it. Uh, and then also, like, they didn't heckle us at all. They were super nice to us opposing fans, but some of the best heckling I've ever heard was towards the Chargers players, and I loved it. I'm starting to kind of laugh and tear up right now just thinking about it. But this guy, they were getting blown out, and J.K. Scott, I believe, punted for either the first or the second time, and it was like in the middle of the fourth quarter. And this guy was just drunk, and he's like, "I spent a bunch of money on these tickets, and I'm going to get a couple of words in." He stood up, and J.K. Scott was right in front of us. The kicking net was right in front of us. So he was like right here on the end of the bench. And the guy just goes, hey, J.K., way to earn that game check. Would you punt twice all game? They could pay me to sit on the bench to do that. And I lost it. And it was just great. I loved it. The fan experience was awesome. I loved how they did not come after us or anything. They were like, whatever, you guys are here. And now that we're losing or winning, we're going to heckle your players to make them feel bad. And even though it was like a good thing he hadn't punted, it just made it even better for us as an experience to hear that. And if I start laughing, I can't stop. So that was great. We gave the fans, and actually very close to the stadium, we gave them an 8.6 because just the experience, they were really nice. The heckling was good. It wasn't directed towards us, and it was just very good. So far, Indy's rocking food. Indy killed it here too. They haven't been the best one we've been to, but at this point, it was by far the best because the only one we had to compare it to was the Chicago Bears, who we talked about that. But Indy, their whole concourse was just awesome. They had tons of food options. I believe the only thing we got here, we did get something else, but I can't remember. But I remember they had specials, I feel like, every game. And the special for this game was, at the time, his name was Darius Leonard. I believe it's Shaq Leonard now. They're like all pro linebacker that they had at that time. He had like a bacon blue cheeseburger, and you got that, their large cut fries, and a large drink, and it was like $16. So it was like, whoa, I got a specialty and some other stuff for way cheaper than the last stadium we were in. So we were impressed there. They had other options too. They had other specialties, like they had specialty pizzas, and then they had like just your normal, like your hot dogs, nachos, chicken tenders. Which, so we ranked them at an 8.7 just because of stuff like that. The food was good. It was quick. Your lines weren't long, and if they were, they got you through really fast. So they ranked high there, and I don't see them improving on much of anything. Could they get better? Sure, but they're not bad at all. Value at Lucas Oil Stadium was really good, especially for it being a newer stadium. The prices weren't terrible. They weren't even bad. They were actually pretty great. We ended up giving this a score of an 8.3 on value. In total, we spent $867.78. The majority of that being on tickets. Tickets cost $629.36, but that was for 2 tickets, front row, 30-yard line, extra like wide seats, padded seats. So it's very, very hard to complain when you're getting 2 tickets for the price of maybe half a ticket 2 months before we bought them. The other $238.42 that we spent on this whole trip went towards our gas, food, hotel, and parking. We did not spend anything on parking. We actually stayed at a hotel that was like 2 or 3 blocks. Like basically, it was right across the street from the stadium because you could see the whole stadium. Um, and we got free parking and we just walked. So the value was really good. The total for this whole stadium was actually an 8.56. We do recommend going here, whether you're a Colts fan, not a Colts fan. If you're just a football fan, I would go if you don't really have a team. If you have a team, the next time they play the Colts, I would go because this whole stadium was just pretty good. We've been to 14, and this is almost our highest ranked stadium.
All right, you convinced.
And but that's going to do it for this one. The next one I release will be actually the Titans Nissan Stadium that we did in 23.